Now, this video is called, Is This Really a Reptilian? And I just needed to point that out because in the portion of the video I've managed to get through here, not once is it stated that we are looking at reptilians or lizard men or anything like that, and I just wanted to make sure there was some context as to what the hell is being spoken about. Not that that's going to help.
Okay, Mudfossil University, Roger, the voice of Mudfossil University here.
And the voice of reason. No, wait, it's the other one. And that's why we love you, Roger. What have you got for us today? Hopefully it's not giants, again, because while I like them and all, Mandem is kind of obsessed with giants. There's more to life than giants, Roger. Although not much more.
And today we're going to be talking about a discovery made long ago, apparently by an ancestor of Kimberly Ann Montgomery.
Oh, I have no idea who that is. Should I? Although then again, I don't know who anyone is because I am really bad with names. Like, there's these people who live in my house and I can just never remember who they are. So I just smile and nod whenever they say, "We love you, Daddy." Super weird, but they seem nice.
Up in Washington State, Seattle area, I believe. And we are going to go into this right now and make sure that you get to Mudfossil University. Tell everyone you know.
Oh, I do, Roger. Seriously, you are one of the greatest sources for unintentional comedy on the internet. But I do have to point out the very few places where you are ever so slightly wrong. Or, you know, everywhere and completely. But you'll never know better unless someone tells you so. So here we go, I guess.
Your kids, your grandparents, your mother, your father, your uncle, your brother, your sister, everybody walk down the street and say, hey, you, go to Mudfossil University. Wake up.
For a second there I thought you were having a moment of self-awareness, but then you go, wake up. And I imagine, but I'm not 100% sure about this, but probably would have followed up with sheeple, if you'd have thought of it. Yeah, bless his little cotton socks. Roger is in deep.
All right, let's wake up.
But I don't want to, Mum. I was having that really nice dream again. So nice.
All right, here it is in its full glory.
What the f*** is that? That looks like a bellend with a face. That's absolutely terrifying, because it looks exactly like mine. I wonder if that one can talk too. No, I am the only one that can talk, for I am the chosen one. Shut up, penis. Nobody likes you.
And I mean, it is glorious to me. And I'm seeing the colors of blood.
If you're seeing the colors of blood on your face junk, please see your general practitioner as soon as possible. The only colors that you should be seeing on your face PP is Terry Pratchett's The Color of Magic, the first book in the Discworld series. And what the hell am I talking about?
I'm seeing the colors that you expect to see changes. I'm seeing creases where you expect to see creases. I'm seeing eyeballs where you expect to see eyeballs.
Right, forgetting about the whole color thing, someone made a creature with a fairly standard face shape, the kind that we have come to expect from a lot of Earth creatures. And this is super surprising to Roger, because why would humans create something with the features that they are used to and understand? Apart from the fact that they do that all the time throughout history.
This I have a hard time accounting for, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh, that's obviously like one of those Elvis type style dudes. Guy's clearly into rockabilly. You know what? I used to actually know two guys who did that. Well, I say knew them. They were just kind of famous in the local area for doing it. It was super weird, but hey, more power to ya. Not like anyone else was doing it in Chavvy McChavtown.
Although it is some form of a crown, or it is growing from the guy's head.
So two things that pretty much couldn't be more opposite if they tried. Hey, at least you're giving yourself a huge margin for error on guessing what it's supposed to be. I wonder why you might do that. It's like asking for the answer to a multiplication question like 2 times 2 and saying, it's definitely a number. Well, you're not wrong, I guess.
Now, those other statues that we have seen and that Kimberly found seem to indicate that this is not something that's unusual. They were there.
Wait, there's more than one statue? Dude, you're tripping me out. Everybody knows that it's impossible for there ever to be more than one statue in existence ever. That's why you never see two of them in the same room at a college party together, because all statues are the same person. Spooky, I know.
Why they're there, I can't tell you exactly.
You can't help but laugh. I don't know, man. It's like, to Roger, evidence that can back up what he says can never be anything more than a picture of a thing and the thoughts rattling around inside his head. I'm not sure if it's ever crossed his mind to, like, open up a book or even go to one of the places that he mentions to do any kind of research or testing, and yet believes he's onto something. It'd be sweet if it weren't so goddamn stupid.
Again, this is a soft claim. I don't have this in my hand, but I'm pretty darn sure this thing is valid.
Valid? Valid in what context? Is it a valid statue? Well, yeah, it's right there, being a statue. I guess that's not what he means. Also, this is a soft claim, is it? Unlike all your really firm claims, your rock-solid claims of giant petrified beach intestines and big statues being fossilized large boys from the Bible days, even though there's that one statue that is kind of new and we have records of them being built that you still think is from the Bible days.
All right, as you know, at first I dismissed this, but as I started looking deeper, I don't see any way that anyone could have made this... could have done this by carving it.
Why not exactly? There's plenty of examples of ancient cultures creating crazy detailed carvings. Carvings that I hope to crap you don't just decide is somehow the remains of some creature. If I'm completely honest, that's kind of why I picked it actually. Had I shown an example of a detailed statue, I'm sure he would think that it's just more examples of stone frozen peoples or whatever.
I mean, look at the eye and look at the actual material it's just like your eyelashes. It's that...
Okay, fine. This wasn't about the detail per se, but Roger, this might be the kind of time when you say actually go to the place, or at least for the love of God, get some actual high resolution photos so we can actually see what's going on. And I keep telling you, learn to use editing software to actually show us these pictures in at least the resolution that you have them. It's like you're trying to make it hard to distinguish any detail for the viewer as possible. But you wouldn't do that to me, would you? Nah. In Roger's case, I think it's Hanlon's razor every silly step of the way.
Type of thing. There's some form of a different matter, a different molecular structure to here.
So it is about the details of the carving, right? But no, it's not a different material, it's just carved more intricately to give the illusion that it is something else. They can do that, you know. Me, I am really good at carving realistic potatoes from potatoes. And done. See? Uncanny, right?
Which is the same as in the edges of your skin, the edges of your eyebrows and your eyelids and so forth. And it appears to have some form of something's going on in the eye there.
And I really thought he was gonna have something good there. More fool me for believing in Roger's ability to actually come up with any ideas beyond, I don't understand it, therefore mud fossils.
Now, these little dots and spots here, that is the nature of skin. As the very, very outside erodes, you end up with this pattern underneath. I've seen it a million times.
And of course, in no dimension ever could that be either intentional or just the actual erosion pattern of that kind of rock. It absolutely has to be real skin. You don't understand. Roger's seen hundreds of rocks that look exactly the same. That doesn't mean that's what rocks look like. That's what skin looks like, you pitiable fools.
Now, The other thing that I can't account for in
Other thing? I'm pretty sure you can't account for anything you believe or otherwise, mate. Accounting for things would involve you putting in some effort, and these videos just wouldn't be the same if you actually bothered to try.
just accidentally happened, and is this stuff here, and this crease. You can't make a crease like that. That's a crease from, just like your face does this as you get older.
Your face does that? Now, I could be wrong. I don't know a huge amount about human physiology, but last I checked, human faces don't do that. Mine does, but I don't count myself among them there humans, and it's mostly because I am so handsome. That's what handsome means, right? Face covered in hands, yeah?
This color in us is blood. That is the color of red blood. That's ferrous oxides, FeO3, which is your red arterial blood.
And if we say for a sec that that is definitely iron oxide, the important thing to note about iron is that it has nothing to do with rocks. Like, it does not come out of the ground, and thus could never, ever be far, far, far more likely an explanation for iron oxide being on a rock than statues used to be alive and are covered in blood.
And this, I believe, is a bone foramen or
But that's part of the same matter that you said was skin. Skin and bones don't tend to look that similar, even if they are on the same layer. I should know. I have peeled enough lizards and humans in my time to be an expert. I mean, what?
I don't know what to say. And this appears to be the black area. Usually there's red and black.
If you don't know what to say, maybe you don't know what you're talking about. And I know this is counter to my interests, but maybe you should just not say anything at all. That's the other thing, isn't it? None of this is scripted because none of this is actually researched. It's all stream of consciousness. None of it is prepared and checked for accuracy beforehand. And I'm sure that even if stroke when you do write stuff down, you wouldn't bother checking that anyway either. It all shows a complete lack of preparation, and then you wonder why the academic institutions that you contact stroke harass don't take you seriously.
You seeing what I'm seeing?
Yes, it's a carving. You just interpret it in a wildly different way to basically everyone else on the planet. And hey, maybe we are all wrong for dismissing you out of hand and you are actually onto something. But let me tell you something that you may or may not have heard before, but it applies so much to your particular content. That which can be claimed without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. And you pointing at pictures of statues and saying that you think you see is not evidence. If you actually had samples and testing and data, that would be evidence, or at least worthwhile evidence. But what you are doing here is the evidentiary equivalent of showing me a blurry photo of the moon and saying, you think it looks like cheese, therefore it is definitely made of cheese. And anyone who doesn't immediately agree with you has some kind of agenda against you. No, you're just wrong, and no one is under any obligation to take you seriously, especially when you don't even try.
Maybe you have a different take, but this is what I see, and
do you know what I would do if I had a different but equally ludicrous take? That this was, say, a ridiculously big grey tomato that just happened to have a face on it. And the world needed to know because it was some lost secret that could feed the world. And I wanted people to
tell everyone you know, your kids, your grandparents, your mother, your father, your uncle, your brother, your sister, everybody. Everybody walk down the street and say, hey, you.
And wanted people in universities to look at my idea and take them seriously, I might actually go to where it is and say, bite it. Maybe cut it up and put it in a salad. Perhaps even try to replicate the process that formed it on some other fruit or vegetables. You know what I wouldn't do? None of that. And post about my findings on the internet to the applause of a bunch of people who are all equally as disinclined to legwork as I am, and then act surprised when people come along and make fun of me. Unless, of course, deep down I knew it was all nonsense and I just did not want to face reality and continue to pretend that I have solved some mystery while sitting in my chair and patting myself on the back.
It sure looks pretty good to me, as I have a hard time seeing this as not being real, to be perfectly honest with you. I can't find a problem here.
Right, yep, that's it. You've done nothing to confirm your conclusion, and yet you are certain you are correct because who the hell knows? Man, I would kind of love to talk to the guy, but at the same time, I think he would frustrate me to the point of drinking, something which I rarely do. Why are you all looking at me like that? Oh, right, of course, the lying. Guys, don't forget to panic buy Sick Brand merch. What if you need to let people know that you are handsome, famous and good at the sex in a variety of tasteful colours? Buy as many as you can afford now before this thing that's printed to order runs out. Also, you can use it as toilet paper if needs be. You never know when you're going to need to wipe your arse.